All right, Nick. Independence Day style. The Reds lead as they should. America's team. 8-4 last I checked. I have to pull up the game right now just to make sure that I'm not outdated.
It is 8-4.
Let's see here. Got to actually turn my headphones on. That would be a head start for me. There we go.
Love the hat. Love the hat. Let's go.
Yeah, Ebbets Field edition.
Looking good. Looking good.
All right, Nick.
I'm much more back in my element. I was still like yesterday, kind of getting back into the groove. I got a nice little box score recap. Hopefully nothing.
Nice. I like that.
Jacked up. We got our bottom ticker looking strong. I think we're ready.
Safe again. Dude, we just steal every base known to man. You're got to be ahead of me per usual. I'm guessing. Hopefully it doesn't matter, but watching the replay of Fraley steal the base, slides in, touches the base, safe.
Okay, I let me know when you see Luke Maley, spoiler alert, swing and miss, looking ugly.
Okay. I love that I'm like legit like a pitch and a half behind you. Swing and a miss, ugly.
All right, we should be right on time now.
All right. I know, I'm way behind, man. Listen, here's the thing. I was so tired of dealing with the VPN and trying to figure out how to be able to get the game on locally that I finally just purchased the cable package, got Bally Sports. Maybe that'll keep them out of the bankruptcy. But in doing that, it got me off of the fact that I am no longer on MLB TV and not synced up with Nick, so I'm well behind. Now, why in the world is this far behind? I'll never know. That makes no sense to me. The people that are actually producing the game are 2 pitches behind the people that are pulling the game from the people that produce the game. Make that make sense.
I'm guessing, yeah, the old MLB.TV has priority access.
Wild. Man, go ahead.
So every minor league game I watch, I have a notification pop up before anything happens. Like, home run. Oh, cool. See that in about
spoiler
45 seconds.
I'll take one more run.
Yeah.
Throw it away. Dude, Fraley's just padding stats, bro. Are they going to get pissed about that?
I don't know. Is kind of one of those. I mean, it's a 4-run game.
It is stealing third, though.
I get what you're saying.
I don't know. It's one of those unwritten, stupid rules of baseball. I don't believe in it, but
wow.
Yeah, let's steal second base. Why not?
I mean, but that's still. I mean, if you feel confident that you can steal, it's still important.
I agree.
Got a lot of infield singles this year. You got a lefty that looks like he could at any point uncork one.
I agree, Nick.
So I don't.
I think all the unwritten. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All the unwritten rules, in my opinion, are stupid for the most part.
If the Reds were up 10 runs right now, maybe I that might be a little much, and I'll give you that. But nah, man, 4 runs is not a lot.
Yeah, slam range. Got to always have some kind of phrase for baseball when you want to get back in it. You got to get the bloop and the blast. You got the slam range. Get a couple guys on one big swing. You know, got to have all the different ways you can get back into a game. Good pitch.
I'd like to see India hit his third bomb.
Boy, did he get hot. I mean, he's been hitting the ball well, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Finally getting the results that he wants.
I'm a clean walk 3 times today.
Yeah. Dude, the 2 through 4, 2 through 5 hitters? 2 through 5 hitters were unbelievable today.
Duarte threw 14 pitches. You bringing him back out?
No.
I assume Diaz is unavailable, right? Pitch back-to-back days. Probably.
I've not looked at it.
Sims didn't pitch yesterday.
I got the tab right here.
I can't imagine letting Diaz pitch a third straight day up 4 runs at least.
Well, it wouldn't be 4 straight days. He had Saturday.
Three
off.
straight days.
Yeah.
They haven't gone a lot of 3 straight days.
No.
Yep.
If I had to guess, they're gonna run out there. Duarte, and then if he gets in trouble, you bring in Derek Law again.
Yeah. I mean, if he's feeling good, I mean, he looked great in that last inning. I'd let him.
He did do that. He I don't have it right in front of me, but Duarte one time this year did come out for 1 inning, threw the ball really, really well, came out the next inning and wasn't able to finish the inning. So
That's been a good day for your offense when a guy gets 6 at-bats.
how many hits are they up to?
16.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And expected batting average, Trace, of 395. Almost had a 400 expected batting average today. You don't see numbers like that very often.
No. Yeah, we're living right.
Let me turn this down. I'm a little hot here. Chad, is my mic okay? Let me know. I felt like maybe I was a little cold yesterday, Trace, on the podcast.
You want me to turn you up? Is that what you're saying?
Turn me up, dog. Just a little bit. Not a lot. Not a lot.
Are you as high as you can go on your end?
Yeah, I'm at the good cutoff, I think.
I'll add 1 more decibel.
Maybe it was just streaming that was kind of rough.
All right, I added you. You're a little bit louder. I don't think you're going to be crazy much. Not. It's not going to be a significant difference.
Yeah, it might have just been streaming. All right. What did Ellie do? Oh, it was technically 4 for 4 because that was a sac fly.
Yeah.
All right, going back with Duarte. I love it. Let's go. Let's go. Jake Fraley's got 15 stolen bases. What is his career high?
Who?
Look, Fraley. He already had his career high.
Stolen bases?
Yeah. His career high was 10. He's up to 15.
Could you imagine?
Come on, Duarte. I believed in you, man.
Can you imagine the absolute devastation of Joey Chestnut working a whole year for one single day event? Which I know he does other events, but this is the one day to shine in all of your glory, and they just cancel your event. Just no.
Did they bang
makeup.
it? I didn't really.
They banged it, so don't worry about it. We're not doing it.
I gotta be honest. I'm disgusted by that. I think that is I can't watch it. Sorry. I don't blame anyone who enjoys it. You're welcome to enjoy whatever you want. I think it's disgusting.
Well, I'm not suggesting that I enjoy it, nor suggesting that I even watch it. I'm just trying to I'm trying to wrap my brain around the fact that somebody trains and works at trying to make sure that they're the best eater in the world for a full year, all year long, and then their day comes and they just decide to cancel it on you. It's just like, all right, well.
I think it's a hell of an accomplishment. I'm just disgusted watching it. Like, I don't want to watch that. That's gross.
All right, I'm gonna start looking up. I'm getting closer and closer to looking up usage rates here. I'm already there, but
Sims is warming. Did you hear that?
Okay, Lucas Sims is the main guy. That's the only guy. Let's be honest. This is twice now where Duarte's done this. Just throwing that out there. So next time that we talk about maybe bringing him out here again, we'll remember the last 2 times.
Quit while you're ahead.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like when you have Kennedy going out there in the 6th, which I'm fine with, by the way. I'm not actually second guessing it, but you can actually understand. Like, okay, maybe we've made this harder than we needed to.
Oh Lord,
David Bell's gonna get crushed for this. He's ready, is what he said. Why make it easy? I mean, the hell with that. There's no reason to it. There's no reason. Absolutely not. I mean, for the first time in a while, I was sitting here on 4th of July thinking, man, this is going to be nice. Let's go downstairs, relax, do a nice little quick show, enjoy ourselves. No, here we are again. Just throw strikes, man. Nick.
I'm very glad that Lane Thomas is not the tying run here. I will say that.
I mean, strikes.
Do you know Lane Thomas looked awesome in this series. He's having a great year. Do you know who the Cardinals traded him for?
Who the Cardinals traded for?
Yeah, Cardinals. Lane Thomas was a Cardinal.
Okay. And who'd they get for him?
They got 2 months of John Lester.
That's why you don't try. That's why you don't.
It did help them. It did help them make the wild card. So I guess, but I don't know if Lester. I don't think Lester was even very good though.
That's my point. I tell me what Lester did first, but I'm just saying in general. My biggest fear is not that the Reds actually go out and try to get someone or trade someone away. That's fine. But what happens when they trade someone away and the guy that they get is just absolutely garbage?
He had 4.36 ERA. They were desperate for pitching. I know that. But yeah, that's but yeah, like you were saying, I mean, that's the fear of trading for rental pitching. You give up a guy like Lane Thomas who could absolutely be helping them right now.
Matty Ice in the chat is saying it's back on at 2 p.m. Did they bring the competition back? All I seen was that it was canceled. Canceled. Conspiracy
theory there.
We're going to have to dig into that. Somebody tweeted out that
more interest.
Somebody tweeted out that it's the worst 4th of July since 1775.
Oh my God.
That's pretty funny.
Oh boy.
I love this little cart thing they got here.
Yeah, that is elite.
Welsh telling a good story. Like, Chris Welsh, man, he's so good. He's so good at his job. I'm being serious.
All right, Lucas.
Strike. Really do appreciate Chris Welsh, man. Very good at his job. I like that.
Likes?
Yeah, likes. I mean, why do we do this every day? I'm about to start treating. I'm just have to start. It's just I feel like it's my kids. I'm like I gotta tell them every time. But you know what? I love you so much that I don't care. I mean, I care, but I don't care. Right? It's like We shouldn't have to do this likes, but I'm telling you, the more and more we do this, it just seems that's the case. We do need likes, and we need them fast.
Science.
Throw them out. Throws a little high. Well, it is a big deal because we want to try to get a double play, but those runners don't mean a whole lot.
The outs mean a lot.
The outs mean a lot. Oh, they had him too. They had him, bro. He missed the throw.
Oh.
He missed the throw. Oh, they had him. Damn. Maley just missed it. That's all right. Man, how awesome would that have been? We stolen out with a guy that just should never have been out there that far. Well, why is that guy so far off first base? Dr. Huger Hermit says, what if we don't like the stream? Well, bad things happen. Bad things happen. That's what happens.
Do you want to be the reason?
Yeah. Don't leave
because you couldn't just go click. Come on.
It's not a coincidence that as soon as we started begging for likes, that we got a strikeout. It's not a coincidence.
Of their best hitter.
We went from 44 likes to 85 like that. Next thing you know, we got banging. Guys are getting banged out. Now listen, Duarte's family actually pissed at this chat right now that he couldn't throw strikes in this inning because you guys didn't hit the like button.
Mrs. Duarte is livid.
Put that should be a thing. We need to add that into the old advanced stat metric. How many YouTube likes were present during this time of event being occurred? Come on, Lucas. Double play. That's not ideal. Nationals Park. I like their park, by the way. A fan.
I've been there once, and it was a rain delay. I was there for like 6 hours. It was a nasty day.
Pitch. It's a good pitch. It's a good pitch.
My issue is it just didn't feel like a baseball crowd. Like that was kind of the.
Well, what was the? That's an out. What was the crowd like? Was it not a big crowd?
There was like an okay crowd, but just felt like everyone there was
social
just there.
Hour? It was a social event.
They weren't there to watch a baseball game.
Yeah.
I don't think the Nats were very good though. So
there wasn't many people there. Period. When I went, that was because the Nationals were. I think they had the worst record in the league. If it wasn't them, it was the Reds. All right, Lucas. To do the deal here. Yeah, he went. Look at that. 102 likes. What an elite chat this is. What an elite show. What an elite group of people that watch this show. Just like that. I love that. Did you see the guy in the background telling everybody to get on their feet? Please tell me you've seen that, Nick.
No,
oh, man. That's the kind of friend that I want. That guy's hilarious. Dude, that's laugh out loud funny, man. Chat, did anyone see that on the broadcast? Nick, there was a fielder indifference. So you seen him. He just got to third, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. There's a guy in the stands with every bit of like 10 people around him, looking around, telling everybody to get on their feet, like clearly being funny about it. Like it's the most obnoxious way of dude. I love humor. There's nothing better than comedy. All right. Come on, Nick. Let's finish this deal. Let's not mess around. Need it. Not going to start begging yet. Nice.
Boom.
All right, let's do a show. America's birthday.
injured glove. Slow to first and Homer failing for the second time in his major league career. Has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win it. What a dream to get into the career of Jay Bruce.
It's not the first one if I'm lying, or I'd be lying if I said it was. Won't be the last either. What a day. What a day. The Cincinnati Reds get to play baseball while I was eating breakfast. Got a late start to the breakfast game, by the way. And I got to sit there and watch a guy named Kennedy shove in Washington. It's a beautiful day. There's a lot of beautiful things about this, especially the fact that it's America's team. They win 8-4 against the Washington Nationals. Nick, how's your 4th of July so far? Is it all right?
Well, it's 2:09 p.m. and the Reds already got a dub. It's a hell of a 4th. Can't get any better than that. Hey, we only asked for 2 wins this series. We already got them. So
We're not greedy, though. We're not greedy. I still stand by what we said. We get 2, we get out of there. We get 2, we get out of there. Now, maybe we get a little bit greedy. We'll ask for 3. But, I still stand by that, Nick. I'm not going to go back on my word. 2 wins in Washington was a good series. We can keep it moving. Washington, oh, by the way, I think that and again, I don't have this off the top of my head. You probably do. But they came into the series playing pretty good baseball. So, I mean, I know their record's pretty bad, but they came into the series, I think they've won like the last 2 or 3 series that they played in. Nick, I don't know if you can confirm that or not, but everybody always wants to act like this Reds team is winning against bad teams, and the Nationals aren't good. But I don't get this notion that the Reds, like somehow the Reds aren't good. Like, at what point do you just admit maybe the Reds are actually good?
Nats were 6-2 in their last 8 games and had won 3 straight series, all on the road against the Padres, Mariners, and Phillies.
Interesting. Weird. Now they can't beat the Reds at home.
I tell you what, Trace, there's a team in Milwaukee that plays at 4 o'clock today, and I have to imagine they're looking up at the scoreboard going, do the Reds ever lose? Like they got to be a little frustrated because after the Cardinals have flopped this year, I mean, really, it was kind of their division to lose, right? By, I think, pretty much every expert nationally. So it's kind of fun that the Reds have to be just that thorn in the Brewers' side right now. And they're just, man, they don't lose.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Brewers fan, I think that you're definitely looking in the. You looked at the standings probably 2 weeks ago as a Brewers fans and was like, okay, whatever, the Reds will fall off. Like they'll come back down to earth, and then they win again. They won their 7th straight, and they're like, okay, this is a little crazy. And they won their 8th straight, and they won their 9th straight, then 10, 11, 12. At some point, Brewers fans started to think to themselves like, damn, this might not actually go away. I still think that they probably. If I was a Brewers fan, I still would have a little optimism that's like, okay, the Reds will probably come back down to earth. They can't continue to keep come back from behind wins. You probably aren't going to do that all year long. And then second thing is the starting pitching is eventually going to catch up to them. The scary part, though, like we said before, is that if Jonathan India gets hot, Tyler Stevenson gets hot, right, we get a little bit healthy in regards to just, I know Green and Lodolo are still a ways away, but just in general, this is not a Reds team that I would want to have to face if I was playing in the playoffs. Just because of the things they do. They put so much pressure on you defensively. They steal bases. They're like gnats, man. They're like gnats. They're like cicadas every 16 or 17 years. What is it? Like 17, 21 years, whatever? I don't know. Anyway, you get my point.
Gnats that beat gnats.
No pun intended, by the way. I'm not that smart.
Are you ready for a box score recap?
I've been ready. Actually, I was waiting for that. As soon as I woke up today, I thought, Nick, I can't wait for the box score recap.
All right, Reds 2nd of 4 in our nation's capital. 11:05 a.m. start time, and Reds wasted no time early. Early risers, these Cincinnati Reds. Top of the first, a pure hustle double from Matt McLain. And then Matt McLain took off with India at the plate trying to steal third. India singled, and then McLain scored easily, made it 1-0 just like that. Then Ellie De La Cruz singled. India went very aggressively first to third, a bad throw, and then Ellie got to second base. Spencer Steer singled on a misplay by the Nationals. Jonathan India scored. Ellie had to hold up at third base, but Spencer Steer took second, just really showing off the Reds' just absolute relentlessness on the base pass. The Reds would strand Steer and Ellie, but took a 2-0 lead earlier. We moved to the top of the third. Ellie De La Cruz singled, Spencer Steer walked, and then Nick Senzel hit a 3-run home run, his 6th of the season, 396 feet. That made it 5-0 Reds. Top of the fourth, Jonathan India joined the party as he absolutely crushed a solo home run, 421 feet, 106.2 off the bat. That made it 6-1. And then in the top of the sixth, Jonathan India did it again. Second home run of the day, number 13 on the season. That made it 7-2 Reds. Brett Kennedy, the guy that was pitching an independent ball to start the 2023 season, only allowed 2 runs through the first 5 innings. The Reds did bring him back out in the 6th. He allowed 2 base runners. Fernando Cruz came in. He allowed 3 straight runners to reach base, but Cruz did rebound, struck out 2 batters, and the Nats actually stranded the potential tying runs on base and actually had the go-ahead run at the plate. Reds led 7-4 after 6 innings. In the top of the 7th, the Reds got an insurance run on a Matt McLain walk, and then a hit and run, moving McLain to second on an India groundout. Matt McLain stole third base, and then Ellie De La Cruz was robbed of his 5th hit of the game, but it was still a sac fly. That put the Reds up 7-4. And the Reds bullpen, maybe not the most clean end of the game from Duarte, but Lucas Sims got the job done. Reds win. Reds now 8 games over 500, 47-39 on the season. Reds are 12-1 in their last 13 road games. The Reds are 12-1 in their last 13 road games. Trace, this is a team that started 1-9 this season on the road, and they are 23-9 since. And the Reds are only 6 wins away from matching their entire season total of road wins just a season ago. What a time to be alive.
I don't know. I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel because there's times where I watch this team and I think, man, there are significant holes that this team has, and it's going to rear its ugly head at some point. And then there's days where I just think to myself that, you know what? Stop being so pessimistic. Stop worrying about that. Just appreciate what's in front of you. Realize that whatever odds there that they are, they've already taken those odds before the year started, and they've snapped them right across their knee. Like the fact that this team was supposed to have an over/under of 64 wins, it's like, I mean, it's unbelievable. It really is. We do the same song and dance every single night. You do the box score recap. You list off these statistics and you compare them to last year, and it's like, what the hell, man? All right, let's get in the rundown. We have a 4th of July weekend That's not right. 4th of July week to get to, which would be today, and hopefully many of you tomorrow have tomorrow off. I don't know. We at Chatterbox are going to have shows tomorrow, but maybe you get tomorrow off. I don't know. I don't know what corporate America is doing for that, but that's here nor there. Big Red Platoon, you put it in the rundown. I tweeted earlier, and I give you credit. I was what was I? Would I be a converter? What would be the term that you would use, Nick, for someone that just says, you know what, there might be something to the platoon thing?
Rehabilitated.
Okay, I've been rehabilitated. I'm there, man. I'm legit on the bandwagon. I am legit on the bandwagon. Nick, you know this. You know this. I was one of the first guys to say, oh, okay, what are we? You're telling me that we should pinch hit Kevin Newman for Jake Fraley earlier this year, and you're going to actually look me straight in the face and tell me that's the right move. And for a large portion of my life, I've always considered that you should just play guys every day, get a consistent lineup, and you know, maybe what would you say? Maybe Fraley hits 40 points less than he traditionally would against right-handers and left-handers, but you still run it out there because that's what you do. I'm off of it. I'm off of it. I've been converted. I am completely on the other side of the aisle now. I'm not suggesting that there aren't times where I think you could push through it. I think TJ Friedel's a good example of that. And Friedel's splits, to be fair to you, you've always said his splits aren't that bad, especially in the minor league level. But I value his defense more than anything. Like, I think TJ Friedel's defense is a little. It's almost worth 30 or 40 batting points in my opinion on an everyday lineup card. But it happens again. Nick Senzel goes hard in the paint.
Well, and a lot of this is a lot of the reason I think that times this didn't work over the last couple of years was the Reds didn't have the depth to make it work with the platoon lineup. I mean, when Stuart Fairchild got sent down today, which I don't really love, but that's beside the point. That's the kind of depth that the Reds have right now. And they finally built up enough depth to where you can really exploit some of these matchups with platooning and things like that. But, this is kind of given a guy like Nick Senzel, who had that just huge home run that completely put the Reds in the driver's seat. The Reds were only up 2-0 with Brett Kennedy on the mound. I mean, that was a really big time home run, set the tone for this game. But Nick Senzel's just kind of slotted in. He's kind of got rebirthed as this solid platoon player, the solid utility guy, and that's fine. If that's all Nick Senzel is, that's fine. I know everyone's been in a rush to trade guys like Nick Senzel and Kevin Newman at the trade deadline, but why don't we want to keep them? Why don't we want to keep having the best matchups every single night that we can, use to our favor? So it's great to see Nick Senzel kind of really embracing this role. Seems to be doing really well with it. And the nice thing is, if one of these guys get hurt, you have Stuart Fairchild that is kind of interchangeable and can keep you platooning. Because a lot of times what happened before Trace over the last couple of years is the Reds actually on opening day would have some pretty good platoon matchups, but they have a guy or two get hurt, and then that just throws everything off. And then you're having guys that should be platoon players that have to play every day, and then they get exposed. And so I think right now the depth is helping the Reds get through that. And they have also had pretty good relative health this year as well.
Yeah. Well, it also helps when guys produce too. You can always play the statistics or play it by the book or whatever term you want to use. Use the computer, as many say with David. Like, pull the laptop out, Bell. It helps when guys actually produce, right? Like it's one thing to make the right move and the right move not work out, get crushed for it. But if the right move, you do it 3 or 4 times in a row and it still doesn't work out, people are going to question it, period, right? No matter whether it's the right thing to do or not, people are not going to believe in it. I do see the hat call out. I think it's actually the camera. I believe it's the same thing. But if you think that I'm not going to wear this hat because it made me look goofy, if you think that I'm not going to wear the United States of America hat because I think that people are going to make fun of me, then you don't know what kind of American I am. I could give a rat's ass what your opinion is of my hat. You know why? Because it says USA across of it, and God bless it, I'm proud to be an American. All right, back to the show. Brett Kennedy.
It was goofy.
Well, I think the camera has kind of like a wide angle thing to it. So if you get in a certain spot, it makes the bill look long. But that's here nor there. I don't spend too much time about this hat. Brett Kennedy. He threw strikes, man. That's the main thing that he did. He did not walk guys. He walked a few towards the end, but he was in the zone. And I think the hardest hit, or in my opinion, the hardest pitch to hit is a good changeup in baseball. I've always said that. I think a good changeup, if executed and placed in the zone, is the hardest pitch to hit in baseball. There's just not that many guys that throw a good changeup. That's the difference. Sliders are kind of the go-to pitch. Splitters. There's really not a lot of guys that in at least that I know of around the league that hang their out pitch on a changeup. So I kind of like that. I like the fact that he challenged guys, and you know who loved it the most? It was Chris. Chris Welsh was eating Kennedy up. He loved it. He was like, let's just keep challenging these guys, throw strikes, and see if these Nationals can actually hit the ball. That's here nor there.
Yeah, I mean, I know his final line didn't look all that spectacular. I mean, kind of feel bad for a guy leaving the game with a 7.2 ERA after he pitched as well as he did, but how many innings were the Reds expecting to get out of him today? If they were being honest, 3, 4 max. So the only reason he came back out in the 6th was because the Reds had a big lead. So really, I mean, I just look at the 5 innings that he gave you was more than enough. Reds tried to push it, and I don't blame them for trying to push it. They don't have an off day this week. You're trying to protect your bullpen, but the first 5 innings were great. Threw strikes, attacked the Nationals, and I mean, it's kind of going to be an interesting case. Is he going to get that last start of the first half on Sunday?
Well, let's not forget that he's let's not forget it's the Nationals, okay? This isn't the Dodgers. This isn't the Braves. Like, that's the one thing that I keep pushing back on with when everybody was trying to crush Ashcraft, I kept thinking to myself, Ashcraft, I think that he looked better than what his results were. And some of that's just the fact that the Braves are really, really good. The Dodgers are really, really good. And then Ashcraft finally gets to throw his last start and looked better. That's because he wasn't facing those guys. They're those teams. So we'll see how it ultimately ends up for Kennedy. There's a reason that he probably wasn't hanging around the big leagues, and that'll eventually probably rear its head. However, you know what? Let's just keep riding this wave while we can, Nick. Let's just keep pushing guys out there, and if they keep throwing the ball well, we'll figure it out later. Yeah, I think he deserves another start because I think that the last inning he gave up 2 runs, right? 2 of those were his earned runs. He didn't really actually give them up. There's got to be at some point, and I know why this is why we get into advanced metric stats, because you look at an ERA and you think to yourself, well, that's a pretty bad outing if you look at it from an ERA perspective. Well, he came out of the inning. They try to get an extra inning out of him when they probably shouldn't have anyway. So that's kind of on the staff if you want to put it on anybody. Maybe you put a little bit on the staff. You put a little bit on him for walking guys. But he also then didn't get a chance to clean up his own mess. And I can tell you, your boy Cruz didn't do him any favors. So I think Kennedy threw the ball well. You can kill me all you want if you think that his ERA is terrible. I know you're not saying that, but for people that come back at me and they're like, Trace, you think a 7 ERA is good? It's like, well, I don't think that stat tells the whole story.
You are the ultimate hater if you are hating or giving any sort of flack or even trying to point to that about Brett Kennedy today. Pull your head out of your ass on that one. That is dumb. I mean, come on. This guy was an independent ball. He was called up to make a start. No one expected him. I thought he was probably going 2 or 3 innings, and the guy gets you through 5 innings on 2 runs. Oh, let's point to his ERA. That is horse crap, man. You're a hater. You're a giant, big hater. America.
Kirby's fired up, brother. I love that.
So what are we asking here? Come on, man. Give this guy some credit for this start. Good Lord.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of the guy that rolls into the old Roadhouse, the old Outback, and they get a steak that's just whatever. It's okay, but their little preeny asses have been at Ruby's their whole lives. They're like, well, this isn't that good. It's like, oh, shut the hell up, man. Either eat your steak and get out or just don't say nothing at all.
47-39. Come on, folks. What are we doing?
All right. Go ahead.
It's serious. Back to Kennedy. I thought this was just this start and this was it. He's going to go right back down. But the fact that he's made it at least interesting to see, do they start him on Sunday? Is it Ben Lively? And that's going to be an interesting game because that's the last game of the first half. So you're going to be going all out. You're not saving guys in the bullpen. So you're probably, if it's Lively or Kennedy or whoever else or Derek Law, you're probably expecting to use every reliever. Now, granted, if on Friday and Saturday the Reds completely blow through their bullpens, then maybe It's a different story and they're looking for some length. So it'll be interesting to see what they decide. I don't honestly know what the right decision is. I could really see you going either way.
Yeah, I don't know. Parker Blake, new baseball question. Is the oversliding issue fixable with coaching? Don't want us to lose on speed, but speed is useless if you miss the bag. Yes, good question. That's a great question. That's an elite question. Sliding head first allows you to be much more athletic when you're trying to get to a bag. So you can move your arms. You have the ability to kind of swipe around a bag. You can do a million different things when it comes to sliding head first. It also is easier, in my opinion, to slide head first because you don't really have to try to kill your momentum and dive back and do any of that. You just dive straight head first. I think it's quicker. I think it's much more athletic. I think it's easier for most guys, and that's why most guys slide head first. The only issue is the rules of baseball, and I maybe this is a small little topic to get into with the running red legs. A great segue from Parker there is this. I really would like them to change this rule, Nick, because I don't think it's of the essence of the game. When they wrote the rules of baseball, the game's changed so dramatically that I don't think that the essence of what they're actually doing when they go to replay to check whether they popped off the base just by a little bit or not is a part of the actual real rules and when they were written. And I don't like the guys having to try to contort their bodies and hold on with their feet and doing crazy stuff with their bodies just to make sure that they don't accidentally come off the base for a split second so they can go to replay and then call them out. So I think they should change that rule. It's not going to happen this year, but I think down the line I would hope they would change the rule. And they could make it to where it's more of an umpire's discretion. But can you fix it? I don't think there's any coaching that can really fix it, because the other thing that doesn't help Ellie is the fact that he uses the sliding mitts, which again is try to protect his hands. You don't want to break your wrist. You don't want to break your fingers when you slide into the bag, Nick. But it also doesn't really allow them to hold on to the base either. You know, they can't really grip the base and hold on to it. I don't think that there's a solution, unfortunately. I don't think there's an easy solution outside of changing the rule. Nick, I don't know if what your thoughts are on all that, but I'm not going to tell Ellie to slide feet first if that's what people are thinking.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that's just going to be a risk with Ellie De La Cruz. But I've been a long advocate of, I think there's a good middle ground here. I mean, I think you can't just let players completely slide over the bag and be safe. I mean, then you're going to have guys just coming in completely reckless. And I think stolen bases are already going to be up so far to where it's going to be almost a situation where it might be brutal for the opposing pitchers. But I think that with the slide rule, it should be take away the replay on the slide. You cannot review, did the player overslide? If the umpire calls it out live, then that's great. But you can't review fingertips coming off. It's completely against the entire spirit of the rule. I can't imagine there's a single person out there that really goes, oh, yeah, he was off. Let's get him out. Like, especially if you're just a neutral observer and it's not your team. So I think you make that non-reviewable. It seems like just such an easy fix. And if the umpire sees it live and does it, that's great. But if an umpire sees him overslide, thinks that he overslid, called him out, I think you could review it the other way, and I think that's fine. I don't think anyone would be upset with that piece of it. But the just barely overslide, that's just so silly and just such a waste of time and ruins the flow of games, and I despise that.
So here's the last here's how I think you could get the best of both worlds. I think the rule should state that you're allowed to slide into the base, and as long as your feet don't go past the base and or your feet are near the base, then you're safe. If your body, if you go over the base with your hands and you're basically your body's laying over the base. The other thing that I would like to see, maybe this would also fix it, and this is where it gets a little complicated, but it almost feels like a little bit of a halo rule to where you have the base itself, but the base, just envision the base extends straight up to the clouds. If any of your body is over the base in any capacity at all, once you touch the base, then you're still safe. Like, that would just stop people from having to, like, it was Friedel. Friedel stole a bag today, right? And he grabbed onto the base, but he had to, like, contort his body and try to drag his foot up and touch the base before he let go with his hand. I'm just telling you, at some point, someone's going to get hurt trying to do that. So they need to change the rule. I'm not suggesting they should be like Ellie today and be able to barely touch the base and slide 4 feet past it and still be safe. I'm not saying that. But there needs to be something that's fixed. I knew Anon was coming because it's 4th of July. I knew this was coming. So I prepared for it. That's really what a good manager does, Nick. They prepare. Some say David Bell do that. But I came prepared. I'm going to do something today that's probably really a bad idea. But you know what? It's 4th of July. I'm going to get a little frisky with it. There's only one thing to do today, and that is to try something that's never been done before. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't think I can do it all at one time. But I think if you do 4, I think 4 would show a little bit of eliteness, right? 3-banger. What about 4? I mean, we got 4 of them on here. Here, hold on. How do we do this? See that? All right. I'm going to try it. I'm going to have to go 2 and 2 is what's going to have to happen. Ready for this? This is for Anon. This is for an Anon. Anon, you are a loyal supporter of this show. This is for you. Much love to everybody. No free ads, by the way. Tell me I didn't do it. Tell me I didn't do it, chat. Tell me I didn't do it. Tell me I didn't do it. Now, I don't know how long this show can go on here, but we're going to keep it moving. Because let me tell you something. This is America's team. And by God, that was American. I'm going to tell you a fun story right now while I have you. This is actually 100% a true story. I went up to the top of Kirby. I got Kirby gagging. Kirby's going to gag. Kirby. Are you okay, Kirby? You need a drink, Kirby. All right. I'm going to drink some water. So I went up on, what's the real tall tower in Chicago? Sears Tower? Is that it? It's got like the observation deck. Yes. Okay.
I muted myself.
Okay. So I went up to the top of Sears Tower. My wife found out that you can go to a bar instead of paying. You can go to a bar that's at the top of Sears Tower, and as long as you're buying drinks, you're good. You can pretty much get the same views as you can of going Willis Tower. Thank you, Rick. So at the top of Willis Tower, there was a bar. And we're sitting around Willis Tower, and it's a little uppity up place. And listen, I can try to be uppity up sometimes. I'm just not that guy. I got to be frank with you. I'm not. I don't like it. I like going to a golf course. I like wearing a t-shirt. I like wearing gym shorts. I like playing music when I'm golfing. That's my style. Does it not mean that I can't go possibly to the country club and do that type of thing? And I'm not saying the country club's all always like that, but point is, I was at the top of this place. It felt a little uppity up. I looked at this waitress. She came around and she's like, what would you like? And I said, I know it sounds a little odd, but I'm looking for a fireball shot. You got a fireball shot? I could use a fireball shot. And she looked at me like I had four eyes. And it's like, it's almost like she wanted to be funny. Like she was like thinking like, you're going to ask for a fireball shot at the top. Like look around you. Would you look around you for a second? You're going to ask for a fireball shot. And my wife even was like, Trace, they don't have fireball. And I looked at my wife. I looked up at that waitress. I said, are you going to act like you don't know what a fireball shot is? Are we really doing that right now? And she looked at me and she's like, no, we don't have any fireball shots. I'm sorry. But I tell you what, listen, if you don't think that I'm going to stand for Fireball Mania, then I don't know what to tell you. And I'm not suggesting for 1 second it's the best. I'm not. But I'm not above it either. And Willis Tower shouldn't be either. Maybe that's why the Cubs suck. Just a thought.
Cinnamon whiskey, no free ads.
Cinnamon, yes, good point. Cinnamon whiskey. Man, I'm off my game. That's what happens when you have four of them. Where do we go from here? I think we talk about Ellie De La Cruz. We want to talk about being hot. What about that transition, by the way?
Well, hold on. Did we talk about Jonathan India? Have we even mentioned his name yet? The guy had five the guy had 5 hard hit balls and 2 home runs today. I feel like we probably should.
Yeah, you should
make sure we mention him.
Thank you for the positive energy, by the way. I think we sent out a public service announcement of asking for people to rally around Jonathan India and let's try to be supportive. And then boom, man, it kind of came quicker than expected, but nonetheless, Nick, what do you have? How hard those balls were hit today? You will soon.
We have in chronological order here. We have 102, 86, 106.2, 100.8. 98.1 and 103.1. I think 95 is what constitutes a hard hit ball. So those were hard hit balls and then some today. So good stuff for India, man. Good to see him performing well. We've talked a lot about his future and all that, but the Reds need him right now. He's looked really good the last couple of days. Looked a lot more comfortable. Hit that grand slam on Saturday. So he's really starting to come into his own. And it's just like what we've talked about. I mean, it's just been a team that you're going to have, hopefully 3, 4, 5 guys kind of carrying the team at once. Then you move on to the next. And that's just what's going to keep this lineup productive on a nightly basis. Patrick Corbin, his last start through 7 innings, one run against the Mariners, a pretty good lineup. And the Reds just beat him around today. So that was just great to see. Ellie De La Cruz had 4 hard hit balls. Nick Senzel had 4 hard hit balls today. These weren't cheap hits. And like I mentioned I don't know if it was before we went live or not. 395 expected batting average today for the Reds. That's incredible. It's a good lineup. This is a really, really good lineup. And for as much as we talk about the pitching, and I actually saw a good comment. Sorry, I don't know who said it. It said the Big Red Machine wasn't known for their pitching, and that's a good point. I mean, you can also mash and steal and bullpen and play some good defense your way to wins too. They all count. They all add up. So, yeah, this lineup, man, it's incredible how good they are right now.
I'm getting killed in the chat for the fact that I gave free ads. It was bad. It was bad. No free ads. No, not anymore. It was really bad. Maybe I should make a call. Maybe we don't need to have. Maybe they can be just paid ads. That'd be nice. Figure that out. Find somebody that can sell something around here. Ellie, 3 hits versus left-handed pitching. 4 hits total. Should have had 5.
Robbed of a 5th.
The 5th one, before we get to the 3 and the 4, man, tell you what. How disappointed were you when he caught that ball? Because I think Ellie gets it inside the Parker if he doesn't catch that ball. Easy.
That's a good point. I didn't really think about that. Yeah, he kind of went all out for that. So, yeah, that's a pretty spacious outfield if that rolls all the way to the wall. Yeah, man, that would be fun. You know what's happening at some point that he's going to get one of these. Let's play a game.
Let's play a game. I like games.
Over under 1.5 inside the park home runs for Ellie De La Cruz. Chat, what do you think? Over 1.5. I'm going over. Over this year.
I'll put it in a poll.
Over.
Start a poll. Over, under, Ellie De La Cruz inside
some games
homers.
One of them's going to come in San Francisco. We still got some games there. That's
over 1.5. Under. I am going to go with the under.
Oh,
not to be a loser. Nah, it's hard, man. It's hard.
Detroit. Yeah, he doesn't. Arizona's pretty. Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of big ballparks left. I can see Wrigley
this year, Steve. This year, the question is this year. He's definitely going to have more than 1.5 through his career. That's a fact. Unless something crazy happens.
He might have more than 20.5. I don't know, maybe 10.5. I don't know.
Yeah. You're throwing out crazy stats. People are going to clip up on you in 10 years.
That would be
Could you
awesome.
imagine the type of...
Someone clips me up in 10 years.
Could you have...
I would just stand and go, man.
Could you imagine the Nick Kirby type of hate you would need? And I think it's out there, Nick. I wouldn't put it past the people. I think it's out there. I think that there's some Nick Kirby haters that might pull that out. They might bookmark this for 10 years down the line. It's going to pop up on their feed. Now, we'll see. Anyway, it's nice to see Ellie get off to a good start. Not to a good start, excuse me, but get off the high. What would you call it? Slump's a strong word. Get off the snide, I think is the term I was looking for. With his appearances at the plate, right-handed. So good for him. Good for Ellie. Got some people off his back.
Yeah. Good to see. I think there's probably some valid concern about how well he can hit left-handed pitching right now. I think some of the rush to let's get him done with switch hitting, like let's pump the brakes on that. I mean, let's give him at least maybe one full season of switch hitting to see what he can actually look like before we even, consider something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's good to see. I mean, the Reds need him to be an everyday player, obviously. And I'm not worried about that. Even if he hits 200 versus left-handed pitching this year, I think he'll still be a valuable player. And it would be interesting though if Ellie still has these pretty drastic splits, maybe later into the year, did they keep batting him fourth against left-handed pitcher? Did they move him down a little bit? That could be that's maybe my more interesting thing than...
I don't want to move Ellie down, period, because Ellie, all it takes is him to get on base one time. We do this every show. He's just such a game changer, man. He's such a wrecker. He's unbelievable. Like even the error today, which they called that an error, right? They called that a hit? Anyways.
Reds did not have an air today.
No. The Nationals. Thought that I thought it was in part because Ellie's speed, but that's here nor there. I don't want to.
Yeah, Ellie was four for four.
So they gave him a hit for that. That's all. I mean, it might have been a hit. I mean, maybe I'm not. It's just like one of those things where the guys are going to rush plays regardless. But you're a baseball guy, obviously. There is something that Reed Mouse has brought up to me before that I think is actually one of the few good things that he says. He brought up the point that they should just get rid of errors completely when it comes to kind of just decisions. Like if you get on base, then it's a hit. Just take out the human element of deciding whether or not somebody should have made a play or not. I don't think I hate that. I don't think I hate that because that would have given advantage for people that have speed. Oftentimes, at least back in the day, maybe not so much anymore, but back in the day, guys that had really elite speed would get punished because fielders were trying to rush a play or they had to basically rush a throw and their throw was just offline, so it pulled the guy off the base. The next thing you know, he's safe. I don't know. I gotta. If we're being hand up in the air, I think I like that.
I would maybe counter. I've actually thought they should include that in on base percentage. I think that would maybe make more sense because you are actually getting on base instead of that being viewed as an out in on base percentage. I think reach on errors should count towards your on base percentage, and I think that would probably be a way for those players to get credit because obviously anyone that evaluates players looks at a player's on base percentage.
Yeah. I think that the way that we've looked at statistics for so long in this game, it has really, I think it's been one of the great hinders of this game is statistics. Statistics allow a lot of people to get interested in baseball, so I'm not downplaying all statistics. However, it's always like, oh, you have to play 162 games a year because you don't want to mess up the history of baseball and the statistics that go with it. You don't want to do this because of the statistics. You don't want to do that because of statistics. Like, well, for the betterment of everybody, I think that there's things that need to change, and it's okay to change them and just have historical references as to why things are changing. I know people are going to disagree with that. Sin Nick in the chat already is disagreeing. Says stats made baseball. I just don't believe that. I don't think so. I don't think when you go to a game and you watch Ellie De La Cruz play, you're like, man, I'm so glad I came to see him get on. I'm glad I seen him raise his on base percentage by 30 points today. Like, I don't know. I think you'd leave the game and be like, you know what? That was unbelievable atmosphere because the Reds were in it. And I think that playing 162 games, like it or not, this is a whole nother debate for another day. I would just wish Major League Baseball could make there be more meaningful moments than just the end of the year. Here's one thought. You know how minor league baseball does this. I don't know, Nick, we'll get your final thoughts on this now while I have you. I love that minor league baseball has the ability to make the playoffs from the front half of the year, and then the back half of the year you can make the playoffs again. So you have two different pennant races. I would love if Major League Baseball did that. Could you imagine right now if there was whoever finishes first in the NL Central on the front half of the first half of the year gets at least a wild card spot, if not, and I don't say that they would at least be guaranteed to play in the postseason as a wild card. Not that they wouldn't be electric already, but this would be like unbelievable electric the last 5 days.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against having some sort of reward for a first half. I think the divisions maybe keep that how it is, but maybe it's a thing where you have 4 divisions, you have your first wild card spot, and then the other 2 wild card spots is the best in the first half that's left and the best in the second half that's left. So I don't know if it would necessarily create as much chaos because I guess a team like the Reds would be like, well, if we finish here, we think we're probably going to get in unless one of those other teams ahead of us really flops in the second half. But yeah, that's I kind of like that idea.
Well, it's just like it feels like, and then the second half you get fresh new life. I mean, how many teams right now that had an injury to start the year? The Pirates are a decent example. The Pirates fan base, and I know that we could care less about 90. We don't care about any of the other franchises. It's just trying to keep more franchises invested for the entirety of a season. Most franchises, maybe this year's an exception to the rule, but most of the time, Nick, half the teams they've already given up. They're not even paying attention to this year. So if you got a whole new opening day start in the second half of the year, maybe you catch lightning in a bottle and you get hot and you play well the second half, and then you find a way to get in the postseason. The Pirates find a way to finish first in the division for the second half of the year. I don't know. You get my point. So that's here nor there.
Somehow the Reds are going to get screwed if we did that, though.
Well, in fact, they've done this one time before.
I know.
You know this. You know this?
82, right?
Yeah, they've done this one time before. It did not work out for the Reds. They had one of the best records in baseball, period, and they didn't make it because they'd gotten beat twice. But that's not the same anymore because we'd have wild card spots. But go ahead.
I do have to push back on I love 162. I think it's what makes I don't know. I've changed a lot over the years, so I've waffled a lot. Like, I was an anti-DH guy, and now it just feels so stupid that we ever played without a DH. But I do love the idea of 162, and I agree. A lot of the stats are completely outdated. But I love the fact that Elly De La Cruz or maybe Noelvi Marte or maybe someone else could challenge George Foster's 52 home run record for the Reds. I think that'd be kind of a cool thing to chase. Like Eugenio Suarez was, 3 away from that, and that was a season in 2019 that was a lost season. But there was, to your point about the end of the year meeting, I was interested to see if Suarez could break that record. And I think stuff like that could be fun, like the doubles record. I don't think the stolen base record's anywhere close because I think the OG Billy Hamilton. Or no, Hugh Nickel 138. I don't think that's going to get caught. I guess I guess if you call it the modern one since 1900, it's only 81. I don't know. I wouldn't put that past Elly De La Cruz. But nonetheless, I do like that those kind of things do still matter.
They do, but then you turn around and you just neglect the fact that whatever guy did back in whatever period of time doesn't matter anymore because the game's changed so much. It's like, oh, yeah, that guy stole 136 bases, and you, and the entire chat automatically assumes he's playing against guys that are bagging groceries today.
Yeah.
It's
but
like
the home run one's legit, though. Like, that's 52 every single year forever. So I love the fact that could get challenged at some point.
All right.
I do like that.
I love baseball. I'm not suggesting that it's in dire straits and needs to change everything completely, but I just would like there to be more opportunities to keep as many fan bases engaged throughout the entirety of the season. Having split seasons, in my opinion, does do that. All right, Reds MILB. I know that many of these games have not happened. Well, none of them have happened. So do your best, I guess, to run through what that looks like.
Yeah, just Louisville will be in action at 7:05, Chattanooga at 7:35, Dayton 7:05, and Daytona 6:35. Tune into the podcast. I'll try to record a little recap of what went down for tomorrow morning for you.
Who, what, when, where, and why, Nick?
Yeah, tomorrow, Reds going for a series win. They're going to have a tall task going up against the Nationals lone all-star Josiah Gray, former Reds 2018 second-round pick. He was, of course, traded to the Dodgers in that Puig, Kyle Farmer, Alex Wood, Matt Kemp trade. And then he actually went from the Dodgers to the Nationals along with their catcher, Keibert Ruiz, for Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. Gray has allowed just one run over his last 2 starts. 11 and a third innings. That was against the Phillies and the Padres. And then he's only made 1 career start against the Reds. And last year it was really good. 6 innings, just 1 run, struck out 9 batters. Senzel, Votto, and Stevenson are all over 3 against him. And then Graham Ashcraft on the mound for the Reds, coming off his best start in nearly 2 months. That Friday night game against the Padres, 6 2/3 innings, just 3 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. And then Ashcraft last year threw 7 brilliant innings against the Nationals, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. So should be a good matchup tomorrow. But we're back to 7:05. We've kind of been all over the place this week. 6 o'clock, 11 a.m., back to 7 o'clock tomorrow. So
that we are. Also, news to note: I plan on trying to get to as many shows I can. I think Nick partly knows about this, partly doesn't. I don't know. I think I vaguely told him, and he might remember, might not. If he doesn't, this might be news to him. I am actually going to go on a small little vacation's probably the wrong word to use, but a small little vacation / trip. I plan to still work. I'm going to take some equipment so I can jump on here with you guys if I'm able to. Tomorrow, I am going to go check out Guaranteed Rate Field, I think is the name of it. What a terrible name. But the White Sox, it's one of the few, I guess not the few, but it's one of the ballparks I've not been to yet. The tickets are literally like $5 a piece, so I'm going to check that out. I'm actually, don't hold this against me, chat. I'm going to get a stadium tour of Wrigley tomorrow, too. So my son had a birthday yesterday. Decided to give him a little bit of a present to go and check out some baseball stadiums. And then we are going to go to Milwaukee because it just seemed like the easy thing to do because it was an hour and a half away from Chicago. And the Reds are in town, which is really why I went. And if they're watching this show, we may or may not be going to see the Imagine Dragons. So I am going to try to get here, go live as many times as I can. I'm going to keep an eye on the time frame and what that looks like. I'll probably definitely go live on the Friday night at the ballpark. I'm still going to call it Miller Park because I don't know what it's called anymore. What do they call it? Family Insurance Park or something stupid again? Not that
something
family
like that.
is stupid. Insurance is stupid, though. Family, not stupid. Insurance is stupid. So here we go. Tomorrow, I'm going to go check out Wrigley. Going to go to the Guaranteed Rate Ballpark tomorrow night. Then I'm going to head up to Milwaukee to watch the Cincinnati Reds hopefully take over first place in dominant fashion on Friday and Saturday and then come home on Sunday. So I will be in and out. We'll see how it goes. American Family Insurance, Alex Wallace chat is in the chat. So American, awesome. Family, awesome. Insurance, that's where you lose me. All right. So they got a 2/3 great field. No one can have an elite field like ours. The Great American. Nobody. Anything else to add, Nick? Go ahead.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll be here every game, no matter what the plans are. I'm good the rest of the week, so we'll be live after every single game up to the All-Star break. And I'm going to try to work on some podcast content over the All-Star break. I was probably planning on taking a break, but, if the Reds are going to be in first place, we'll keep giving you content every day. So we'll have something for you every day during the All-Star break.
Beautiful. And as always, this is the part of the show where we do it. We tell you that you're the best because you are the best. You are the best. You are the best. One thing that's happened on this show is that we've had internally this recruitment of sorts. People keep telling people, and then all of a sudden, our numbers continue to grow, and that's what it takes for us to be successful, is that we need people like you to pass along the great word that is Chatterbox Reds. So, whether it's the YouTube show at night and or during the day in this case, and or the podcast in the morning, we can't tell you how much we appreciate that you consume our content. Hopefully at some point we won't have to worry about not giving free ads. We'll just have ads, period. So shout out to Bedfred for taking a chance on us at the beginning, but we'd like to think that there will be more and more to come. That way we can make all this make sense, and we can continue to make sure that that this show continues to grow and get better and better and better. That said, as a reminder, please, if you've not bought the Chatterbox Reds night tickets, please do so. We are getting ready to disperse the remaining tickets that we have available. I'm going to give it probably another 4 or 5 days before we start to internally kind of get all of our groups, friends and family members that want to go. But we've kind of held off, if you will, on being able to take friends and family members, if you will, because we wanted to make sure that we gave all the tickets to all the people that loyally watch this show each and every day. So if you go to Chatterbox Reds, disregard that. If you go to chatterboxsports.com and you click on store, you can add the ticket in. If you add $100 worth of merch, use the code CBOX, you get the ticket for free. So you can get $100 worth of merch and you can get a $100 ticket for $100. That's a good deal. Otherwise, Nick, we have a pillow that needs to be shown, and he has it ready to go. Oh, finally.
If we lose tomorrow, I got to start doing it upside down again.
Yeah, that's true. Although I don't know if that's fair, because it feels like we've always tried to jinx on ourselves. This team just keeps winning. So
Yeah, tomorrow's the toughest matchup of this whole series for the Reds. This is going to be a real tough one, Trace.
What a dumb show. What a dumb show this is, man. I love it. It's my favorite. I don't know what it is about this dumb show, but, man, it is fun. All right. Cue the outro music. Here we go. Chatterbox Reds. Download it, rate it, review it. As always, tomorrow, Off the Bench is back. But more importantly, you know what's coming. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. It's time for a dunk. And I want to remind you, you live in the greatest country on planet Earth if you're watching this from the United States of America. And if you're not, I'm sorry about it. I'm sorry about it. But at least you get to watch a show that's produced for the United States of America, and you get to watch America's team. That is elite. God bless the Cincinnati Reds, man. God bless them. They are a blessing in our lives right now. Hasn't always been the case, but it is today. Thank you. Go Reds. Now let me see if I can go be an athlete for once. Athlete.